The Millennium Development Goals, the 8 goals the UN set in 2000 to increase the quality of human life, is now coming to an end after 15 years of efforts. At this point, the MDGs must be evaluated in detail. What was the successful aspect? What was the limitation? And how can the improvement be made and reflected in the new goals for the next 15 years, the Sustainable Development Goals? The achievements of the MDGs are beyond description. The proportion of the people living in extreme poverty has been cut in half, and there also has been a great progress against diseases such as HIV/AIDS and malaria. However, is it really because of the MDGs that extreme poverty has been eradicated? Interestingly enough, the majority of the decrease in extreme poverty took place in China and India, and it was mainly done by the country's economic development, not by UN's aid. On the contrary, in the places where UN took more interest and offered assistance, such as sub-Saharan Africa, extreme poverty rate has not decreased much. And what can be said from this? A country's economic development is the most fundamental and important condition for the reduction of poverty. This summer I had a chance to visit different areas of Nepal. There I saw so many poor people without education and medical treatment. Also in Kathmandu, I saw many homeless people still living in a tent by the effect of the earthquake. It has been 5 months after the earthquake, and an enormous amount of relief and manpower were injected to the victims, but the situation has not changed. And why? Because temporary assistance merely keeps the victims to survive on, but what the victims really need is a long-term solution, the workplace, infrastructure, medical system, and a house. Yes, the key is to provide a long-term assistance that helps the country achieve sustainable development. In this respect, the MDGs were not very successful. The MDGs put much effort into satisfying basic human needs, and it was very meaningful. However, paying less attention to the economic development of the developing countries still remains as the biggest limitation of the MDGs. Being aware of these limitations, the upcoming Sustainable Development Goals must be different from the MDGs in 2 aspects. First, the SDGs must focus on the economic development of the developing countries. To do this, the UNCTAD must put more efforts into creating active trades between the developing countries and the developed countries. And UNDP also must contribute to the country's development at the national level. Second, it is highly recommended that UN and donor countries provide participatory development programs in which the local population can participate. The participatory development programs would bring the local people into the program, letting them have ownership and help achieving sustainable development. To conclude, the Millennium Development Goals played an important role in the international society by making countries of different political and economic status cooperate to solve global issues. However, the MDGs were not very successful in providing the developing countries with sustainable development programs that would enhance their economic status. Thereby, the upcoming Sustainable Development Goals will have to be supported by long-term participatory development programs, which will eventually lead to the enhancement of basic human needs. Thank you very much.